I'm just going to read straight from this because I don't know if I could get through this were it not for my letter. So, I think everyone is a bit distracted in high school, but looking back on it, I feel like I was one of those students who was especially distracted in high school. Luckily for me, I was at a smaller school where teachers could find students like me and make sure that amidst my adolescent fun, I still kept my future in mind, no matter how much I didn't want to. The teacher that found me was Mr. David Suits. He only taught honors classes, which I had started out in until, much to my parents' chagrin, my unfocused mentality led me directly out of the honors classes. As it happened, Mr. Suits chose to take on one class of non-honors kids, which yours truly ended up in. Amongst my passion for worrying about boys, my hair, and my parents, Mr. Suits helped remind me that there were a few other things I cared about, like reading classic literature, writing, and awareness of my community and my world. As I worked so hard to maintain a front that I was too busy to worry about school, Mr. Suits would slyly slip me reading recommendations, hints about improving my writing, and current events that affected my part of the world, whether I wanted to admit it or not. I adore my alma mater, and I'm sure I had a slew of teachers making the same efforts, but something about Mr. Suits got through to me. There was this mischievous yet compassionate twinkle in his eyes. The way he talked about reading and traveling made me want to see the world. And the manner in which he used to enlighten me that screamed, "You need to sharpen your wits if you ever want to make a difference," in a way that got through to me more than any finger shaking or droning lecturing. He had this way of getting students to listen to him when we didn't even know it, and looking back on it, I think it's because he listened to us, the very thing that high school kids swear adults never do. Whatever he did, he made me recognize that I wanted to hone my writing skills, so I went on to major in newspaper writing at Ball State University. The way he talked about Europe as we read classic literature made me sure that I had to see it, so I studied abroad and drank in every part of Europe I could get to. And the way he tied awareness of your community into my studies has made me interested in philanthropic causes, which has resulted in a career in the nonprofit world. So as fate would have it, my status as an NPR junkie caused me to happen upon a 2011 Thanksgiving call-out by StoryCorps. Find your favorite teacher. Go to our website, download the interview, and use it to capture some words between you and your teacher, they said. So it was time for me to nab Mr. Suits, tell him how glad I was that he'd helped save a confused high school soul, and send his story to NPR, who would surely love it. On November 17th, 2011, I emailed David Suits to ask if he'd come into my offices to do the StoryCorps interview with me. He replied with a humble yes on November 20th, so I made the arrangements at Lumina to borrow our equipment and tape the interview. On November 22nd, I learned that Mr. Suits had passed away while alone in Madrid, Spain. I never got to interview him, and I certainly can't tell his story in the same enthralling, dry-witted, heartfelt way that he could have. But what I did do is email him and tell him that he had been my favorite teacher and what a difference he made. And that's what counts. So with this video interview that I'm doing right now, it's a call out to you to take the time now to tell your favorite teacher what they did before it's too late. So thanks, Mr. Suits.